What are my 10 favorite speakers regardless of price? We did one of these videos a couple years ago, but we're updating the list. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee. Let's talk about my 10 favorite speakers regardless of price. Looking back on my old list from November 13th, 2021, so it's been about a year and a half since I've updated the list. Now, the thing about this list is it needs to be evergreen because, well, I hear different speakers. I've heard a lot of speakers since I made this video. Which ones get kicked off the list and which ones get included into the list? Well, we're going to find out. I'm probably going to talk about a lot of the usual suspects here, but you may be surprised. There may be some new ones. So if you're new here, please subscribe. We have over 715 videos, everything from speakers, DACs, amps, turntables. Chances are there's something here for you, and please like this video. Now, this video is regardless of price, which means I'm going to talk about speakers that just aren't cheap or affordable. There's going to be some more expensive speakers in here. However, this speaker, while the price is expensive, it's a huge value. And these are in no particular order, but it's the 9s. From Klipsch, powered speaker, has an HDMI ARC connection, optical connection, phono preamp or regular analog input. Then you have another 3.5mm analog input, remote control, bass boost, dynamic bass. You can control a subwoofer with it, 3-band EQ. Not to mention, they just sound great. You can tweak the speaker to get it to sound exactly the way you want, and you don't have to buy a DAC or an amp or anything else. It is brilliant. At $1,500, it sounds like it's expensive, but when you realize you don't have to get anything else, it's actually a huge value. Klipsch the 9s makes it into my new top 10 speaker list. Another new entrant into the list is the Elac BS41. This is a small bookshelf speaker, 4-inch woofer, 1-inch soft dome tweeter. And guess what? You'd think a 4-inch woofer doesn't make a lot of bass, but this one does. It makes a ton of bass. I cannot believe how much this speaker can hold itself together, even when you're pumping a whole bunch of power through it. This is not just good for near-field listening. This is good for medium-sized rooms. I kid you not. The BS41 was actually used in the Gishelli Labs room at Expona or Capital Audio Fest, and it was actually one of their favorite speakers, and it was the cheapest speaker. It makes a monumental amount of bass. It's incredible. Little bit warm sounding. Comes in usually around $120. Sometimes it goes up to $150. $120 occasionally goes down to below $100 on some holidays. The BS41 is an absolute steal. And it will completely surprise you with how much bottom end it has. A speaker that holds on to its position on my top 10 list is the Sony SSCS5. One of my favorite speakers. The problem is, it's got a little bit big for its britches and it's stuck up its price. That speaker used to be regularly had for $120, but now it goes all the way up to $200. The good news is, it's at $150 right now. That's still expensive for this speaker. It, like the BS41 from Elac, will go all the way down to around $90, $88 during the holidays. $120 is a decent price for that speaker. You would be surprised at how well this thing can hold together. About 85 dB though, starts to kind of falter, but if you put a high pass filter on it from something like the Emotiva T2, Ta1, or a home theater receiver, it can play a lot louder. Has very clean, clear bass, and has a little bit of sparkle on the top end. Can get a bit fatiguing if you have them faced right at you, so you may want to get them a little bit towed out. Still to this day, one of the best speakers that you can get for under $200. If you need them now, $150, but look for like an Amazon warehouse deal or on Best Buy. A lot of times you can get an open box and you can get them even cheaper. Another entrant that holds on to its position is the B1 Plus from Emotiva. They are on sale Unfortunately, they're out of stock, and I don't know if they're coming back into stock. They were selling for $279. So I'm going to talk about the B2 Plus now, which was going to make the list anyway. It was Speaker of the Year last year. Comes in at $359 right now. When it was released, it was $499 and went all the way up to $550. This is a speaker that has extreme amounts of clarity, warmth through the mid-range. I don't think it's as neutral as the B1 Plus. I think it's warmer through the mids. Maybe not quite the detail of the B1 Plus, but it has way more bass. And actually, I prefer the B2 Plus over the B1 Plus, although I love the B1 Plus. Absolute steal at $359. It was a steal at $500. After these sell out, I don't know if they're coming back. But as of this video's publishing, you can still get them. This speaker can easily anchor a 2.1 channel or even a home theater setup as left and a right, even in a medium to large sized room. One of my favorite speakers. Another speaker that holds on to a spot is the SVS Ultra bookshelf speaker, the first speaker that has an aluminum dome tweeter to make my list. I think SVS is an absolute excellent speaker manufacturer. They make great inert boxes, they make great woofers, and they have the ability to combine an aluminum dome tweeter and make it sound more natural than I've heard one on any other speaker. These things have great detail on top, especially cymbals, especially bells, for whom the bell tolls. Great on that speaker. You can get them in piano gloss or you can get them in kind of a regular black ash. They're $1,200. They used to be $1,000. They're $1,200 now. A lot of times you can get an open box one. I'm looking at one from Crutchfield for $10.19 and a scratch and dent for $9.68. Go all the way down to 45 hertz. Once again, a bookshelf that can anchor your system. And they look really cool too. I like the way their woofers look. I need to do another SVS. I need to pull the primes out because that's another good speaker too. But the Ultra is well, the Ultra. One speaker that's losing its spot is the Elac Unify 2.0. It is a great speaker, but it's not as good as the Wharfedale Linton. So the Elac Unify 2.0 is a three-way speaker. The Linton is a three-way speaker, but it has a separate tweeter, mid-range, and woofer. Not saying that that's better or worse, it's just that the Linton, to me, sound better. Big speaker, think kind of vintage 90s type of speaker. Beautifully finished, veneered. It's from their Heritage series, and it's pretty affordable. They were on sale for, I think, $1,500 with the stands. Not crazy expensive and not over $2,000 or anything. They look the part, they sound the part. They have a bit of a warmer sound signature, but they still have excitement on top. Really lush, beautiful mid-range, and they just are big. Throw a big and tall soundstage, very immersive. You can tell if I really love a speaker if it stays at my house, and the Lintons are right upstairs. Moving over to some floor standing speakers, the Klipsch RP6000F, I think is the previous generation. So I think there's a newer version, but these are actually very affordable if you can get them. It says call to order. They have a scratch and dent one for $341 and they're sold as singles, so you have to get two. Even at $400 or $500, these come in around $1,000 for a pair. And I think they're actually cheaper because the 8000F, which I haven't heard personally, but I have heard that they are awesome. Right now, they're on sale for $499 a piece. So I will link both the 6000F, which it doesn't look like you can order, and the 8000F, because for $1,000 for a pair of Klipsch floor standing speakers, the 6000F's just rock. Bananas bass on this thing. They're deep though, so make sure you got some room from the front wall. I was really impressed with these speakers, and I'm even more impressed that they're on sale now. Klipsch taking up 2 spots in the top 10. Wharfedale is going to take up another spot in the top 10, and that is with the Wharfedale Denton 80th edition. There's an 85th edition, a little bit more expensive. I haven't even heard that version. I have, however, heard the 80th edition, and it became my de facto near-field listening setup. However, It's not just a small speaker for near-field listening. You can put it in a medium-sized room, maybe even a large-sized room, although probably not a large-sized room. It's also in the Heritage line, so it has beautiful finishing, very natural and detailed through the mid-range, more bass than you think it would have, and a top end that has just a little bit of excitement for that English-British sound. A little bit more exciting than most of the neutral British speakers I've heard. And it's a speaker just like the Linton, that the longer you listen to it, the more you'll kind of hear just how special of a speaker it is. It's not going to just jump out and say, hey, I'm the best speaker you've ever heard. But normally in my experience, if a speaker sounds good right away, chances are it's going to sound great later. If a speaker sounds awesome right away, chances are it's not going to sound as awesome later. I think they come in around $600. Sometimes you can get them on sale even less. So the Polk R100 made it in the previous list. It's being replaced with the R200, simply because the R200 sounds like a tower speaker. It's a big boy for a bookshelf speaker. It says it only goes down to 51, but that thing sounds a lot bigger than 51 hertz on the bottom end. 6.5-inch woofer, 1-inch ring radiator tweeter, which has a bit of a different sound. To me, it's kind of like an AMT and a soft dome tweeter combined. They list for $749, but regularly go down on sale to around $550. So if you wait on these, you can get a heck of a deal, and it's a heck of a speaker. R100, very good speaker. R200, a little bit funner, a lot more powerful. Great speaker. I think I'm going to put those up too. Going through these speakers that I've heard before makes me want to put them up again. And last, but definitely not least, holding on to his position once again in my top 10 speaker list is the Emotiva T1 Plus. It was always good, it was always awesome, and it was always a value even at list price, but now it's $500 for a pair. These are tower speakers that can play in just about every room except for probably a small room. One of the reasons why I love the T1 Plus so much is because it has the ability to play in a large room and a medium room, whereas the T2 Plus probably need a large room. Even though the T2 Plus could be argued as a better deal, a better value right now since they're doing their clearance, the T1 Plus I think is a better speaker for more people. True three-way, you have two woofers, a mid-range driver, and a tweeter, the AMT tweeter. Spectacular speaker. Powerful. The only thing that people could potentially complain about is how they look. The baffle is faceted and they come in any color as long as it's black. Such a good speaker that I am thinking about buying a pair at $500. The Emotiva T1 Plus. So let's quickly go over who got kicked out of the list. Even though they lost their position on the list doesn't mean these are bad speakers. Actually, they're still great speakers. I just don't think they're in my top 10 anymore. So who got booted? The Elac Unify UB5.2s, which is the Unify 2.0. They're great, but they lack just a little bit of personality. For someone that's really into a neutral sound, I think that speaker could be for you. It takes a lot of power though, and it takes an awful lot of break-in. The Elac Debut Reference also lost its spot. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth. If you like a warmer speaker, it's really good. 6.5-inch woofer, 1-inch soft dome tweeter, beautifully finished. Even though it's just a wrap, front ported, but it kind of got elbowed out of the way. So all of these are kind of like honorable mentions. The Yamaha C93-2s also got booted. I think we had a ton of bookshelf speakers that are exciting. The Yamaha C93-2 is a great value. It's very U-shaped though. Really exciting speaker, but there's also a lot of exciting speakers that made the list this year. And then that's it. Then we have the new one. Two Wharfdales, the Klipsch, the 9s. Polk R200 replaced the Polk R100. Linton's made the list. Wharfdale Denton's. I think I already said that. Klipsch RP6000F. Yeah. If you think I missed something, put it down in the comments. If you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon. Patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night, we have Patreon-only Zooms, Patreon-only Discord, Patreon-only Facebook. You can also sign up for Rune, Amazon Music, or Tidal. Links in the description. Click sign up. There's a trial period. Even if you quit, I still get a couple of dollars. You can also use the links in the description. Those links will be affiliate links. I think all of them will be. Which means if you click and you buy, you get a commission, but it doesn't cost you any more, so it's a great way to support the channel. You can also use the thanks button down at the bottom of the video. Buy me a cup of coffee, but don't feel compelled to buy me anything. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu unless you're doing it with home theater with these speakers. Get one of these top 10 speakers and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.